Evening, everyone. I warmly welcome you to the OCTAVE Quiz Night. OCTAVE is a John Keells Group Data and Advanced Analytics Center of Excellence. And my name is Ishak Karwaratne, and I will be your host for the evening. At OCTAVE, I am a data scientist working for the consumer foods domain um, as a data scientist. I hope that this quiz will be engaging and as well as informative evening for you all. At Octave, we encourage you to be curious about data and its applications in the real world, and hope this fun-filled activity will be a great introduction to you to a great career in data. This quiz is specially designed for undergraduates, so make the best use of this session. Um, so to start, let me introduce my colleagues who are with me today. Charaka Abhay Vikram, who is a data science and engineering associate, currently working for the platform team. Thiraj Silva, who is a data scientist, currently working for the hotels domain in John Keells. So let's take a look at the agenda that we have for today. First, we will be doing a quiz on menti.com, which will have 10 MCQs. Then we'll do a deep dive into a real life use case similar to what we do at the Octave. Finally, we will wrap up the session with a Q&A session where you can ask us anything related to data and career opportunities in data. Yeah. So now we shall start the quiz. Please go to your mobile browser and search for www.menti.com. The link is on the chat also. And on the competition code, it will be 125509 and 11. And when you it will prompt you to enter your name. So make sure that you enter your first name and last name that you gave on the registration form. And the quiz will have 10 MCQ questions, which has 4 multiple choices and one of them will be correct. And you will have 20 to 30 seconds to answer. And those who have not registered using the registration form can email us using this email address that Vidat has posted on chat. I will repeat myself for the one last time. So guys who joined now, please go to your mobile browser and search for www.menti.com. The link is also given in the chat. And as the competition code, please enter 125509 and 11. And then you will be prompted to enter your name. So in that, please make sure to enter your first name and the last name that you gave in the registration form. Yeah, so looks like everyone has joined the competition. So let's start the competition. Good luck and have fun. Over to you, Charak.
So hi guys, I'm Charaka and I'll be taking you through this quiz. Um, so I work on the platform engineering team as a data science and engineering associate, mainly on the MLOps and data platform. So just a quick recap of what Ishika said. When it comes to Menti, you got to answer quickly and answer correctly, but most of all, enjoy yourself and have fun. So let's get started now. The first question, let me read these out and then you'll get a chance to answer as this thing comes. So the first question is, the number of people in your team is an example of what sort of variable? Continuous, discrete, constant, or none of the above? Okay, so it's great to see that most of you have got it correct. And yes, it is a discrete type of variable, and it is not continuous. It's because it can be, it's not like a decimal number or something, that it is a fixed number in a finite range, not an infinite range. So let's move on to the second question. So this is an easy one, guys. What is the probability of drawing an ace from a pack of 52 cards? 1, 4 divided by 13, 1 divided by 13, or 1 divided by 52? Yeah, so the correct answer is 1 over 32. And this is because in a pack of 52 cards, there are 4 aces. So when we take 4 divided by 52, it's 1 over 13. That's why this answer is correct. So moving on to the next question. So the next question is, what is the mean and variance for standard normal distribution? The mean is 0 and variance is infinity. Mean is 1 and variance is 0. Mean is 0 and variance is 1. Mean is infinity and variance is 0. Yeah, so a standard normal distribution is a normal distribution for which the mean is 0 and the variance is 1. So let's see who's on top now. Okay, so Surya Kumar, you're on top, and followed right by Lakna and Prabhash. So just to keep a reminder, guys, the fastest, if you are the fastest, you will get more points, and you have to get them correct, of course, but try and answer them fast, especially the easy ones. Yeah, let's go to the next question. An example of unstructured data set is image data of products, transaction data of customers, patient health records, opening stock of items in a supermarket. So yes, image data is a type. So basically data is broken into two different types, which is structured data and unstructured data. So when it comes to structured data, it's more stuff like transaction data of customers, health records. These are like data it's tabular. And when it comes to unstructured data sets, these are images or text files. And that's why this image data of products is the correct answer. So moving on to the next question, question 5. To identify product segments in supermarket, which of these techniques can be used? Clustering, classification, regression, or none of the above? Yes, so the correct answer is clustering. And this is because you are able to identify products with similar features and segment them using clustering. So these, if you use some sort of clustering technique, you will see that products that are similar will be closer together. And that's why we can use clustering to identify that. Um, so yeah, let's go to question 6. A supermarket wants to predict their sales in the next 2 weeks. Which technique would you recommend? Clustering, classification, regression, or all of the above? Yeah, so the correct answer is regression. And the reason here is the target variable we're trying to understand, to predict rather, is sales. So when we try to predict sales, which is we would use regression as opposed to classification. So classification, we would probably be predicting some sort of classes, like if it's a customer, whether they would churn or whether they would not churn. So churn or not churn. So that would be an example of binary classification. But here we would use the regression model. So yes, let's see who's on top now. Okay, so Surya Kumar seems to be holding on, and we have a new second place, Danushka. So yeah, keep answering correctly and keep answering quickly, and let's see who wins this. Next question. Question 7. Which of the following graphs would be least suitable to identify outliers? Histograms, pie charts, scatter plot, or box plot? Yeah, so the answer here is pie charts. That's mainly because so outliers are points that are significantly, so when we take a data distribution, there are points that are significantly outside the data distribution. So that's why using something like a pie chart would not be appropriate to identify these points, as that would not be visible to us. Yeah, so let's move on to question 8. Which of the following techniques is a regression technique? Logistic regression, decision tree regressor, k-means, all of the above. Yeah, so the answer here is decision tree regressor. And I think a lot of you have answered logistic regression. The reason why that's not a regression technique is because even though it has regression in the name, it's an example of classification. It's used to class. It's a classification modeling technique. So that is not the correct answer. The correct answer would be decision tree regressor. We're almost near the end. So question 9, that we've only got 2 more questions. So I hope you guys will get these correct. Yeah, question 9. Two unbiased coins are tossed. What is the probability of getting at least one head? 0, 0.75, 1, 0.5. Yes, so the correct answer is 0.75, as the probability of throwing a coin for each turn is 0.5. So the probability of getting a head at least once would be 0.75. So let's have a quick look at the leaderboards and see who's on top. Yeah, so Surya Kumar is still on top, followed by Lakviru and Mohammed. So, so guys, this is the last question, and you will have a chance of winning the gift voucher. So do try your best, and let's go move on to question 10. A marketing team spends significantly on social media advertisements. What is the expected correlation type between sales and marketing? Low negative, positive, no correlation, and high negative. Yep, most of you got it correct. So the answer is positive. So we expect with social media advertising, the correlation between with increased marketing would be increasing the sales. So therefore, it's a positive correlation. All right, let's see who the winner is. Congratulations, Surya Kumar. So you won a 2,500 rupee voucher for Exographics bookshop, and that can be redeemed at any outlet island-wide. So you'll be contacted with the instructions on how to redeem this voucher by our team. Now I'll be handing it over back to Ishika.
Thank you, Charaka. Once again, congratulations to Surya Kumar on winning the quiz. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So let's move on to the next section on the agenda, the discussion question. So over to you, Tiraj.
Thank you, Ishik. Hi guys, hope you all enjoyed the quiz today. Again, congratulations to Surya Kumar. So let's get into the discussion question, right? So before we do that, there's some ground rules we need to maintain. One is once I ask you the questions, please raise your hand, which you can find on the tab above you under reactions. And then based on first come, first serve, I'll be picking up who to answer those questions to, right? Again, once I ask the questions, please use the reactions tab to raise your hand, and I'll pick on who can answer first. Yeah, cool. So let's jump into the discussion question. So Hotel ABC, which is part of a group of companies, right? So it's part of the ABC group, is very passionate about developing data-driven applications in the hotel or leisure industry. Okay, So Hotel ABC wants to leverage its retail partners. So that's a Retail ABC group. Data to create a customer base for its online delivery platform. Right? So they have contacted you as a team to identify the potential of using data to better understand their customer base and to create a customer segment based on how likely the customer will order from their online platform delivery. Right. So let me repeat the question again. So there's a Hotel ABC, which is part of a group of companies which has multiple domains, and they are very passionate about developing data-driven applications in their hotel industry, right? So that hotel wants to leverage its retail partners' data to create a customer base for its online delivery platform. So they have contacted you to identify the potential of using data to better understand the customer base and to create a customer segment based on how likely the customer will order from their online platform delivery, right? So in a nutshell, Hotel ABC is looking to start a delivery platform, online delivery platform, and they want to leverage the data from their retail partners in order to identify potential customers who are more likely to order from that online platform, right? So first discussion question would be, provide a list of important information or data points that should be collected from the hotel, retail, or customer. So what do you all think would be the best or the most important information or data points which we should collect as a team to identify potential customers? Anyone wants to answer? Yes, Cesar Hetty, you can unmute and give your thoughts.
Hi. I think we should collect customer's name. Maybe their identity, NIC number or something. Then their age category, and their address, and then we can address and contact details, contact number, and also when what they ordered and how often they ordered, how many times like that.
Great. So that's really good. But let me rephrase the question again, right? So this hotel, they're just running their first campaign, so they don't have past data. So in terms of data points to collect would be mostly from customer data or retail, right? So like you mentioned, age, name, gender, what they order in the retail, that can be leveraged, right? So that's good. Anyone else want to give a go at it? Yep. Please raise your hand. Yes, Rasid.
My thought is we can conduct a survey on our new product from our hotel product. Likewise.
Great. Yes. Good. Abdul, I think you also raised your hand.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So I think like when you're collecting data points, we should collect the NIC number, obviously, because it's unique, and also we can collect how frequently they have ordered, the date, the time, and all those kind of things. So we can find where's the peak hours and where's the trending days, like in a festival season, something like that.
Yes.
Those kind of things are important data which we can collect.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think all of y'all, I think, got the idea on what sort of data points we should collect and what we think would be really important, right? So just to add on to what y'all said, since like the hotel does not have those data points, in terms of retail data, what we can collect is like their purchasing patterns, the frequency of how much they visited to those retail shops, and so on, right? And also the customer demographics, like all of you mentioned, that will be really, really useful. That will be really, really useful for processing those models, right? Good. Let we move on to the second question, right? If this is the hotel's first campaign that they're going to run, right? how can they create a customer base without having past customer data or anything in the hotel, right? So this is very much linked to question number 1, right? So let's assume in question number 1 we only have retail data. Okay, so we gather all the retail information. So it can be purchasing patterns, how frequent, if they buy in the weekend, shop on the weekdays, or what is their total net sales, total gross sales, all of those retail data. How can we leverage that to sort of run the hotel's first campaign, to create a customer segment, right? So anyone wants to take that question? Yes, Sedareti.
I think it's better to go for a social media campaign or something. We can offer some offers or some offers and anything. So it's, I think, part of a marketing something. We can do something related to marketing.
Yeah.
Social media marketing or something.
Okay. I think, yeah, Abdul.
So I think like we can collect the already collected data from previous companies, so they have their sales data, so we can use it to make a model for us, because like in the same geography, like if we take a Sri Lanka business, like we can take a Sri Lanka clothing business, we can use if it's publicly available data, so we can use their data to make a model for us, like for the starting, just to start it.
Good. Aruna, you want to go at it?
Yeah, since this is the first one they are going for, so we can I identified 2 ways. First one is we can offer them a loyalty card, like some retail shops do. Through that we can collect so many data, and we can use them to create business analytics. Other thing is we can give them offers for joining email subscription. So through that we can collect their data, and also we can target them with email marketing.
Great. Yeah. Good. Does anyone else want to take a shot at it? Yeah. That's fine. So I think, yeah, most of you got it. Right. I mean, there are always multiple ways of getting those customer bases and how you collect your data, right? But in this scenario, it would be mostly using those retail customer bases, and how we can leverage or create a customer base on that to use that for hotels first campaign, right? So it can be something like you look at those customers and see who are the high spending customers, or who live close by to the hotel. So these features can be developed using those retail data set, and then we can create a premium customer base within the retail sector who can be used for the hotel's first campaign, right? So I think all of you were in the similar lines of that, which is really good. Great. Moving on to the third question, right? This is a little bit technical, but I think it should be quite straightforward for all of you, right? So how will you find the best customers or the high probability customers who can be targeted, right? So in data science language, how would you define your target variable in this situation? So let's say you ran multiple campaigns in your hotel, you have your hotel data, you know the customers who came to your hotel, who you ran a marketing campaign, and who you have targeted, and who has actually used those promotions or have shopped at those hotels. And now you want to build a model, right? So when you're building a model, how are you going to define your target variable? Yes, Aruna.
So in this case, we have already collected their data. So probably, surely we are going to create a Power BI dashboard or a business intelligence dashboard. Through that, we can identify who should be targeted, like using, if we are doing this campaign in December, we can identify who are the active customers in December month, and what is their pattern, and what they are interested in, what kind of food and what kind of activities they like to do. So through those details, we can target them and do a marketing campaign.
Okay, good. Yep. Sedalaheti?
Technically, I think if we can use cluster analysis, I think it's better. By using cluster analysis methods.
Cluster analysis, yeah. Good. Rasit?
We can do the exploratory data analysis and find out some insights from our retail data, and we can find out who are the customers are highly interested in our hotel industry, and finally we define our target variable.
All right, good. I think most of you like in the similar lines, which is really good. So to look at building a model, right? So we already have data from the hotel, which we have already used, and then we have already run multiple campaigns. So we know who the target customers are, who we have target. Out of those target customers, how many of them actually turned up to the hotel, right? If you're building a model, a propensity model, so it's basically something where you want to give a probability of how likely the customer is going to, how likely if you target this customer, how likely they are going to use the promotions or come to the hotel again. Right? So in a scenario like this, you would want to use something like a propensity model, right, to sort of identify the likelihood of customers coming into your hotel. So to define those target variables, it would be you look at all your past campaigns or your full target base, and you look at the customers who have shopped at the hotel, right? So that will be your target variable. Customers who have been targeted and shopped, and customers who have been targeted and not shopped. So that will be your target variable when you're creating your propensity models or even other models, right? Great. So now let's say you have built your predictive model and it's working really well, but how can you determine whether your model is working well? How do you know that your model is doing great? What can we do to see, or what can we do to understand that this model you have built is really doing good, or is it doing bad? How would you find that out? Any thoughts? Anyone wants to take a shot at it? Great. Abdul, yes.
Yeah, so like if you make a model, like if you want to analyze it, we can use like false positive, like what we say for that.
Yeah,
True, negative,
confusion
false,
matrix. Okay.
Confusion matrix, and so we can find how the model is performing, and also we can use various indexes to find out how the model is performing, if it is overfitted or underfitted, and so on. Like
good. Yeah, Rasit.
We can determine our model is precision, accuracy, recall.
Okay. Good. So that's really great, right? So that's sort of understanding how your model is working, if it's doing good or not. If I can change the question a little bit, how would you know if your model is working in business terms, right? So when so you have identified the potential use of using this data, you have built a model, now you have to go to the business, right? So you can't go to the business and say, hey, look, my accuracy is this, my F1 score is this, my confusion matrix is this, right? So you want to be able to convey your technical terms into business, and then the business should see the value of your model, right? So to test that out, how would you do that? Rasit, have you raised your hand, or is it the previous one?
Previous one. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Any thoughts, anyone? I think Ajulan in the chat has mentioned variance analysis. That's really good. That's good. But again, how can you do it in business terms? Yes, Abdul.
Yeah, so in business terms, I think like we can we can implement the model and like we can show it in a presentation format, or like we can take the analysis of the model, how it worked before the model and after the implementing the model. So we can show it in a graphical representation using some like Power BI and all those kind of tools.
Okay, good. Sedarheti?
In business, I think ultimate goal is maximize the profit. So we can compare the previous profit and after the model again. We build after we create the model, and then what happened to the profit, is it discrete or something like that.
Great. Yeah. So very close, and I think you're on the right track as well, right? So you mentioned something very important: how it worked before the model and how it worked after the model. So that is something very, very important, and that is the answer I'm looking for, right? So how do you do that? Is basically you can run something called a pilot campaign, right? Where you split your whole customer segment into two different groups, which is a test and control. Okay. So the test group is a group where you want to, you use your model to identify the best customers in the test group, and you do an intervention for those customers, right? So intervention meaning you target those customers. Okay. And then the control group is a randomly selected group where you also do, a targeting where you send them promotional codes or anything, but they are not the top segment customer group, right? So they are customers who are, business as usual customers, right? So that will sort of give you an idea of how your test group is performing against your control group. So then your test is model driven, whereas your control is business as usual driven. So then you can compare those two groups to see how well your model is performing in a business side of it, right? So I think what you all have mentioned is very, very close to that. Okay, that's great. Moving on to the final question, right? What are the KPIs you will track to measure the success of your approach, right? Yes, Aruna.
Yeah, here I will track two KPIs mainly. Those are performance indicators and financial indicators. Under performance indicators, I will track those like company's success versus set of targets we are focusing, and how our objectives are completed, and like those things. And I will track financial KPIs, like what is the profit we got from this campaign, and what is the value of revenue minus expenses we had from this model. And also I will track customers KPIs, which is how satisfied our customers are after this campaign, those kind of things. So I will do this using a business analytics tool.
Great, that's good. That's really good. Yes, Kamidu, you can go ahead.
We can find, analyze competitors' product or service, and what market past and future innovation and trends, customer satisfaction of our product or service, and feedback of the customers can we get.
Yeah, definitely. That's really good. Anyone else? Maybe we have time for one more. Yeah. Any other KPIs you think would be really important for the business to see? No? Okay, good. Yeah, so like you all said, KPIs, performance KPIs, financial KPIs, those are basically some of the KPIs which we can leverage to measure the success of your approach, right? So it can be incremental sales, it can be number of conversions, number of redemptions, conversion rates. Sometimes it can be statistical measures or KPIs, like maybe in terms of like a customer journey can be where you have customer page views, the click-through rate, how many of them have checked out, the final revenue of that particular customer you have targeted. So all of those are really relevant KPIs in a situation like this. Right. Great. I think you all answered really well, and you all got the whole approach or the logic for the entire question. Now I'll hand over to Ishaka. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tiraj. So now let's begin the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions related to data and careers in data, please raise your hand. Do not unmute yourself until we call out your names. So guys, like if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Yeah, Abdul, go ahead.
Hi. So, like, I wanted to ask, like, is in this data science and data science engineering, like, what are the differences? Like, what do you do, like, in the like data science and data science engineering, like you said? So, in data science, just we analyze data, or what is the thing we do in data science and engineering?
Yeah, so Abdul, like at Octave, what we do is as data engineers, what we do is we take the data from source systems, like and then create pipelines and take it to our environment, right, where we do the analytics. So as the role of the data scientist is to like take that data and understand the business problem that we get from the business, and using that data we try to come up with a solution. So that is the basic differentiation between a data engineer and a data scientist. And Tiraj, Charaka, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, just to add on to what Ijika said, like in terms of data engineering, like what you do is moving the data to and preparing the data for data scientists to use. And what the data scientists would then do is this is actually we would connect with the BUs and have discussions and understand what the requirements of the data scientists are, and then clean that data and then do certain transformations for that data and move it to a certain usable state for the data scientist. So then the data scientist would then come and take that data and understand the business problems like Ishika mentioned, and go ahead and build certain models from that data. And whenever there is certain like lacking where they need some more data to develop certain feature sets, then we go back to the data engineer, and then that's how that cycle works. I hope that answered your question, Abdul, unless Tiraj, you want to add anything.
Well, I think Ishaka, you and Charaka covered pretty much everything. That's good.
I hope that answered your question, Abdul.
Yeah, and like I have second question, like data scientist, he will be making machine learning models and all those kind of things. Like for my in my perspective, like if I'm trying for a job, in my case, like I'm studying software engineering and I'm getting specialized in machine learning, data science, and artificial intelligence, like in the university. So like am I like I need like a clear idea, is it relevant to data engineering or data scientist or something like that? So which is the pathway where should I take? Like, so I have learned making models, but I have not learned how to get the data like from the basic level.
Yeah, so if I ask you a question, like which job opportunity would you prefer, like to be a data engineer or to be a data scientist?
Actually, I prefer to be a data scientist where I can make some machine learning models, like using predictive models, like image recognition models, something like that, where I can play with the data and do something where it is presentable, like where we can see actual outcome. Like if it's a cat or dog, like if we input an image, like we see it's a cat, obviously, like so something like that I'm interested in, because I'm doing software engineering, and it has coding, so I like to code most of the time.
Yeah, so I think then you are on the correct track. I guess like you said that you are specializing in data science, AI, and machine learning, right? So if your
Yeah.
passion is to be a data scientist, I think you are learning the correct things on your university. But let's say in the future, you want to be a data engineer, like since you have the basics in data science, like it will be more or less a easy shift for you. Like you just need to learn few basics from the data engineering side, but other than that, like since most of the basics you have covered in university, like you should be good to even to shift the careers. So yeah, any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, so my background is also in computer science, and when I joined, I was initially entering for a data science role. But in the associate program, we have the opportunity to move between like roles like data science, data engineering, and the platform engineering team. So I've gotten the opportunity right now to work in the platform engineering team and even the data engineering team. Not yet in DS, but I have certain interactions with the DS team. So through that experience, Abdul, I can very much say that if your interests are in data science, that is what you're doing is right. In terms of the coding and the data engineering, like so, if you have a background in software engineering, like Ishika had mentioned, it's very easy to make that switch into data engineering. Like, and you'll have to have some sort of understanding, of course, of how data is laid and how in a database, how that schemas are structured, and but that kind of thing comes as you develop those skills and as you become more familiar with data. So yeah, I would say if your passion is in data science, then what you're doing is correct. It's on the right track.
Any more questions, guys? Feel free to ask any questions. Yeah, Abdul, go ahead.
I don't know whether others are asking question like.
No worries, no worries. You can go ahead.
No, so like I had a small like I have gone for software like now I'm doing my internship, so I have gone for software engineering interviews and like I have done some interviews, but I don't know how the data science interview are taking place. Like I assume they'll give to make a model or they'll ask some maths question like statistical questions or like what are the what are the things which I should improve when I'm doing an interview for data science and machine learning, like something related to job related to it. And is there any opportunities available in Octave? Like after, if I think I would like to join Octave, like is there any opportunities available and where should I apply or in kind of a link something like that?
On the opportunities, Rajita, are you on the call? If not, like I think we are hiring interns for Octave, but I'm not sure whether we have the capacities to hire now. So what we are doing is like through Octave LinkedIn page, it will be advertised that so these vacancies are available. So you can like follow the Octave LinkedIn page and like the updates will be there. And I think your first question was like the interview questions that might be asked in data science interviews. Was it the first question?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so like in data science interviews, I think the most the people will ask you whether you understand the basics, right? So whether you know the basic stacks, whether you know the basic machine learning algorithms, how it works, when to use it, how to use it, those kind of stuff will be asked when you are at the beginning, right? Um, yeah. Anything to add, guys? Sarah and Tiraj?
For the first one, Abdul, Sam will put the email address on the chat, right? So maybe you can if you are interested for internships, you can send your CV to that particular email. There are a couple of opportunities at this stage. So we have limited opportunities for a particular year. But anyways, send your resume if you are interested. So then there's a panel who are going through resumes. And if they have any interest for their particular department, so they will set it up interview with you.
Yeah, thank you, Raj.
Sam, you can put the OCTAVE email address on the chat so they can email. And do forward those resumes for me. Okay, thank you.
I can actually share the link to our careers website.
Any more questions, guys? Others, please try to join. Raise your hand, we'll give you the chance.
I am industry management student in private institute. I like to know what is the best part of the data science field, and I like to know what is the data science opportunity of Sri Lanka and the overseas. Can I explain?
Will you elaborate on the first question? Like, will you elaborate more on the first question? You wanted to know what is the best path on data science? Or
what is the field of the data science of the higher education?
like you want to know about the career progression or like the higher studies that you can do on the data science field?
Higher studies.
Yeah, I think so. Like obviously after your bachelor's, right, you can obviously go for master's degrees or PhDs in like other foreign countries as well. I think most of the local universities also offer PhDs in like anyway, like I know masters for sure. And I think PhDs are offered in local universities as well. But like there are plenty of opportunity to go abroad and learn for your masters and PhDs. What was your second question?
What is the data science opportunity for Sri Lanka and the overseas countries?
Okay, I think the data science field is up and coming field, like it's booming. It's a booming field currently in Sri Lanka as well as in the world, right? So I think a data scientist is one of the highest paid jobs currently in the world as well as in Sri Lanka. And if you take Sri Lanka, there are many startups that are like getting into more data science field, and there are big companies such as like in John Keells we have OCTAVE, and the other big companies also have started like their advanced analytics journey. So there are enough and more career opportunities here in Sri Lanka. Like there are even more career opportunities if you go abroad. So yeah, anything to add, guys? Charak and Tiraj.
Hi, Shika. I will add a couple of things for the first one. So,
Yeah, right.
So what name for that? Abdul?
Kavindu, I think, asked him.
Okay. Hi, Kavindu. Kavindu, so a couple of areas, like especially in these days, so there's quite a bit of research going on heavy on unstructured data, right? Compared to the structured data, right? There's a huge area in computer vision, object detections, segmentations. There's a big, vast area it's opening in computer vision side, and there's a vast area is opening in the NLP more about the tech side. And there's a huge domain now started to, I mean, it was a very mature, like maybe 10, 12 years ago. But now with the concept of this deep learning, it started to grow up. It's called speech, right? So there's a lot of research going on, how we can use the speech data for some of these analytical things, right? Alexia is one good product that came out from speech domain. So these are more unstructured data, and they have quite a bit of applications too. So other than the application, so there's quite a bit of theoretical research going on as well. They are more into pure mathematics in heavy machine learning algorithms. So you need to have a very good fundamental knowledge in pure mathematics, right? And so the mathematics that we use in MPhil or PhDs, they are quite a bit of advanced. But that's a big area that heavy PhD students are going after to understand what is going on in those algorithms. So they are not really interested about how are you going to use it, but there are people who are actually building these type of algorithms, like, you know, let's say decision tree, and you know, there's someone has to come up with these algorithms, like Adabu, someone has to come up with these things, right? So there's quite a bit of research going on those algorithms as well. And currently, there's another area heavily is data security. But if you are really interested about this data security, it's a huge open area at this stage. And in Sri Lanka, there's not a lot of experts at all, right, in data security. So that might be one interesting area if you are really interested to do master's or your PhD in any of those areas. So looking into some of these universities, but I also recommend you to not to take a decision just based on the university. You have to take the decision based on the supervisor and the lab you are going after. Okay? So it's not about the university, it's about the lab and the professors and the fundings that you are going to have it, the opportunities. So that's what you should go after. Those are some of the heavy areas that actually currently people are doing a lot of masters and PhDs. It's definitely an advantage. I can tell you that it's not going to waste. It's a challenging path, but will be a huge advantage.
Yeah, thank you. Any more questions, guys? Yeah, say that, go ahead.
Hi. As data science is a constantly growing and changing field, and it has a large space for research, I think. So, can I know is there any space for research in OCTAVE? I mean, in your company and company for research.
Yeah. So on that, I think we are like on the verge of like implementing a research lab. I think Rajita can shed more light on that. But yeah, so currently, yeah.
So currently we don't. So we do not have a research-oriented lab. It's more into a business-oriented lab where we try to unlock the value for some of these business problems, right, that we are working within the John Keells audience. But currently we don't. But we are actually trying to partnership with several universities. Currently we are working on with the MOUs with University of Moroto and University of Colombo, and hopefully with the University of Peradeniya, to do some research-oriented projects with the final year students, right, as a collaboration, and see whether we can do some publications with top conferences, and hopefully someday, you know, within in future, we are planning to start a lab too, which is more into research-oriented, yes, but not at this stage.
Thank you.
Any more questions, guys? So make full use of this time, right? Like if you have any questions related to data, please ask. We will try our best to answer you.
Ishika, there's a question in the chat. What is the difference between data science and business analytics?
Okay. So like if I say like this, like business analytics would be more into the data visualizations and trying to get the insights out of the data. Like particularly like I said, like the data visualizations and the deriving statistics out of the data and like normal business day-to-day business, like helping the normal day-to-day business activities. But if you take data science, like it will more go into the predictive side, prescriptive side of the problems that we have. So yeah, like so let's say a business has a question, like a problem. So if you do data science, like in the data science point of view, we can do predictions and like maybe from that we can do prescriptions. Okay, do this too in order to improve your sales. So that will come from data science side, but I think in business analytics, it's more or less like visualization aspect of the um, data that we have at the business. Any more like suggestions from Charaka, Tiraj, or Aditya?
Yes, so I will add you a couple of things for the business analytics. When you say the business analytics and the data scientists, there are two key parts. One is the technical side, and the other one is the soft skill side. If you want to be a business analytics, you have to master the soft skills, right? So if you look at the soft skills, it has a couple of subdivisions. One is you need to have quite a bit of good communication skills. Right? Second is you need to have storytelling. And the storytelling is more into how you create presentations, right? It's basically how are you going to provide some information to the top management, right? So one couple of techniques people are using is this PowerPoint presentation. So you need to have a good skills on how to create PowerPoint presentations, how to visualize the storyline, how to tell a story. And also you need to have good technical academic writing. So these are academic writing. So it's not about level English writing. So you need to have quite a bit of good academic writing so you can represent your insights from the data. What Ishik was mentioned, you are going to analyze this data using visualization techniques. Now it's not good enough. You have to tell a story to the top management in a written way too. Right? So you need quite a bit of heavy academic writing too. You have to master English. Apart from that, you also need to have quite a bit of good skill set in terms of people skill sets. Right? You are very close to the business units compared to a technical person. So you need to have quite a bit of people skill sets as well. Those are the business analytics soft skills. That has to have at least 60-70% of the drive will come from there. And the other 30%, 40% will come from your technical side. You should be able to at least, given a data set, you should be able to at least analyze what happened, right? And as Ishika mentioned, see whether you can visualize this. And some of these tools like at OCTAVE we use Power BI, and there are other techniques like ClickView, ClickSense, W, and see whether you can visualize these things and come up with the storylines. Those are like more to the technical concepts. It's like a 60-40, but or maybe 65-35 heavy into the soft skill sides. You are more close to the business units compared to a technical person. Okay, so you have to master the soft skill side as well.